I'm here in front of the Rock and Olive at the corner of Park and Magnolia in Long Beach. Why am I here? You know, because of this week's Parsha. Special Parsha. Parshas Tetzaveh mostly focuses on the clothing that was made L'chavod ol Sifaras, to the glory and honor of the Kohanim, to have them as our leaders, presenting our case, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. But the Parsha begins with the commandment to light the menorah with olive oil, halos ner tamira, perpetual light. And the Shoshanas Yaakov, a sefer, which is ironic that people will be quoting this around Purim. Shoshanas Yaakov is, of course, associated with Purim. He quotes a pasuk in Tehillim that tells us, "Banecha k'shesile zeisim," your children are like olive shoots, saviv l'shulchanecha, around your table. The idea being that in order to take a child and make them into a Ben Torah, in order to teach our children and educate our children, it's like the process of taking an olive and squeezing out the oil. And the oil that was used for the menorah was just the first squeeze of the oil. That's the olive oil, the pure olive oil that the Maccabees were looking for, that the entire festival of Hanukkah is about. And this message of how hard it is and how much effort goes into the education of our children is so important. I actually spoke about it last week in a different context of the cherubs, but the metaphor of the olive, and by the way, we also see this, the metaphor of wine, how hard it takes to wine, that sometimes even we trample on the wine, it gets trampled, but look what the product is, the olive oil, the Heilige olive oil, the holy olive oil that produced light in the Beis HaMikdash. As we go into these holidays of Purim and Pesach, or in this joyous month of Adar, let us always remember that our children and the education of our children has to be paramount. So much of Purim focuses on children and masks and costumes, but we also have to stress to the children the beautiful story of the Megillah and the idea of chesed and caring for one another, and that when we have a celebration, we can't be whole until everybody is celebrating. This message of the olive, which begins the Parsha, even though it seems to be more relevant to last week's Parsha, is the bedrock of the entire idea of the Kohanim and the children of the Kohanim, called the Pirchei Kahuna. The Pirchei Kahuna, that they're educated even at the youngest ages to be Kohanim. We know that children, even little children, duchen with their fathers and their grandfathers if they're privileged to be Kohanim. I wish everybody a beautiful, beautiful Shabbos of Zachor, and a beautiful, beautiful Purim, very, very heightened and elevated Purim, to remind us how Hashem is always watching over us. Good Shabbos.